Hey, Nicholas, how's it going, man? Good morning, or I guess to you, I should say, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, James. Pleased to talk to you again. Yeah, I'm all good here. Almost the weekend for me, so happy to talk.
Yeah, can you let our listeners know where you're calling in from today?
Yeah, I'm in France. I'm in the southwest of France, in a lovely city called Biarritz, which is close to the sea, close to the mountain, and yeah, I'm lucky to be here.
Yeah, awesome, man. I think last time we spoke, it was also on a Friday afternoon for you as well. Fridays are always a good day to talk sales, and if you're not listening to this on on a Friday, it's all good because you're going to learn a lot of valuable things here today. I really am excited to speak with you here, Nicholas, and I'm going to do a quick introduction. I know you're the sales director for No CRM, and No CRM's our favorite CRM that we use as a sales agency. It's actually the only one we use for all of our clients, which is really an exclusive thing that we decided to go with back in the day once we found you guys, because you've made outreach for us just very simple. Nicholas, being the sales director of a CRM company, you have a unique insight into just sales in general and the sales world. I'm sure you see a lot of small business,
Yeah.
how they set up their sales pipeline. I'm sure you work with a lot of sales reps. Um, Now that we're into 2021, we just kind of got out of a crazy year in 2020. What's the sales world kind of looking like from your end? What are you seeing as things start to kind of get back to normal here?
Yeah, sure. Okay, it's complicated question you're
Yeah,
asking me,
sure.
but there's multiple things. Of course, 2020 was a very special year, and putting everyone behind the screen, basically, to be able to sell behind the screen, which was the main focus for everyone, even first half of 2021. For us as a SaaS company, it has not changed a lot, but it obviously changed a lot the habits of all the I would say, old-fashioned SMB company around the world. And so that was an opportunity for us, but also for other tools, also sales tools in the digital area. So I think that was a big trend in 2020 and 2021. It's not going to be shut down like this because people are going back to the restaurant or bars. Uh, Speaking about France, I know some stuff are going back to kind of normal. When you want to discuss partnership, you are going back to the restaurant to discuss partnership with with your partners. But still, there's a lot of stuff going on talking about sales online. A lot of new tools, a lot of special outreach tools, complete sales suite to be able to make multi-canal outreach. This kind of trends are really boosting, and I think it's going to continue. The other thing I found, which was interesting since I joined NoCRM, basically, is that I believe that the sales function, the sales role, is now more is going back to okay. I would like to be a salesperson. It's no more like you are the enemy, you are the bad guy because you are a sales guy. And I think it's also due to this specific period because all the salespeople had to adapt to train themselves also. And so now there is more and more, you can read a lot of good things about salespeople now because everyone is aware that, okay, it's no more the hard pitching seller and more a consultative business partner. Uh, and everyone is turning to that. And I think it's very positive.
I think that's well said. And I totally agree with that, Nicholas. In many ways, coming out of 2020, I think it did a few things. And this actually talks to one of your points here. One, it forced us to use technology in a more efficient way.
Mm.
Obviously, I think salespeople adapted virtual selling more.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we all became accustomed to doing Zoom and Google meetings routinely. So it forced us to use technology, which I'm sure actually helped or forced the hand of salespeople to get better within their CRMs, which I want to talk about in just a minute. But then on the other side of things, when the lockdowns happen and everyone was quarantining, companies, especially in the B2B world, had to rely on their sales teams to generate some type of momentum, generate some type of traction, and really
Mm.
rely on the relationships that their sales departments had to maybe in some cases keep them in business or at least keep revenue coming in. So I like to say salespeople have this, like, I don't know why they have this negative reputation
Mm.
historically. In many ways, to me, a good salesperson is a servant. They're just helping
Yeah.
someone find the solution for them. And sales really makes the world go round. I mean, look, we're a half a world away and we're talking
Mhm.
sales.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I agree.
and we get that. I'm curious, did you see, like, I guess in 2020, going back to like kind of business owners had to adapt new technologies, salespeople,
Mhm.
did you guys see any type of like different behaviors amongst your customers? Like
Mm.
maybe committing to their CRM more, or like being forced to be more organized within their CRM? Because I know a ton of just entrepreneurs and business owners struggle with being committed to a CRM.
Yeah, yeah. Then and that's a long story between salespeople and CRM, and it's not always a love story,
Yeah.
and that's why we created in the first place no CRM, which is more lead management solution, so really helping salespeople. But yeah, what we saw is basically business owners or sales team looking really for a tool that would be very powerful for them, for sure, really helping their salespeople, but also enabling them to collaborate more online because they were forced to work, remotely. So that was one of the trends. And as you mentioned just before, they were also here to stay in business during the pandemic, which was tough, and they were relying on the sales team. And for that, you need, I think companies started to understand that they need to have a sales process first. And then, okay, I need to optimize my sales process. And then how can I do that? I probably need a tool to do that, okay? Because a spreadsheet or a piece of paper would not be enough. And that was a big trend for SMBs, smaller companies that was not ready for digital world and that has to move toward that. So
I
that was
think
one part, I think.
I think that's I like how you said that. There's a long history and story between salespeople and
Mm.
CRMs, and it's not always a love story. And I think what you said is absolutely correct. You guys are a lead management software, more so than anything. And what I have found beneficial about no CRM more than anything is when you're reaching out to thousands of people, let's
Mm.
say every 30 to 60 days, and cold outreach. And we know cold outreach is all about follow up. We really have to keep organized and keep track of, okay, I connected with Nicholas on LinkedIn on June 2nd. I sent him an introduction message on June 5th. I'm going to send a follow up email on June 15th. Like, we really have to stay organized when we're cold prospecting, because it's all about follow up. That's why we don't get more deals. It's because we're not following up enough
Mm.
or human enough with our follow up. And no CRM, at least just speaking personally here, has helped us stay organized to be actually, I'll give you, this might be helpful for you to know, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Um, our oldest customer that's been in no CRM now for us, at least for the last 13 months,
Yeah.
um, kind of our first customer that got us into no CRM, said, hey, I want to do a database revamp. I want to find all my old leads we've ever engaged with, and I want to know their responses and see if we can't gather something from their responses and learn something about maybe objections we got, etc. So thanks
Mm.
to like no CRM, and of course I'm pumping you guys up, not because I have any investment in this outside of I
Yeah.
just love the platform. We were able to search all the old contacts through your tag feature, look at
Yeah.
all the notes that we took, and we were able to create our own pipeline view for
Mm-hmm.
our client, and we call it buckets. The no CRM buckets. It's the pipeline view that said,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to put every lead that responded with this objection into this bucket, every response into this bucket. And it was really good analysis for us. And now we're creating a new campaign tailored to those objections. So I think when you really have a good lead management software, it should give you data on how to create your future sales campaigns.
Yeah, sure. Plus, it's because you are able to measure things that you can improve it. So whether talking about cold prospecting or then your lead management process, and I quite agree with you because at the end, selling is all about following a process and following a process with consistency. And without a tool, you cannot do that. With a big tool, a complex CRM, probably salespeople cannot do that as well. That's why most salespeople, they don't use or don't like big CRMs.
Yep.
But having a tool that really focuses on what you need to do, the key data you need to get, what actions you have to plan to get this moving to the next step. That's what salespeople need, basically. It's really helping you following the process that the company put in place for them. And that's a key part of being a salesperson. And then, of course, there's all the data that you can put in the tool that will help you measure and improve this process. It's also very important, as you said, and I'm very glad that you managed to get the valuable information from the tool. In addition, to the daily work that you have to do and the daily process that you follow as a sales rep, stepping back, getting data, and improving the process is also very important, and it will help you raise the conversion rate.
Yeah. Data gathering is huge. I think, well, one, we have to understand the data we're going after because that's typically our lead list. It's our
Yeah.
prospects. And then to keep that organized and be intentional with our messaging to our data
Yeah.
group, our prospects is huge. A few last questions for you here. What's one of the biggest, I guess, missed opportunities you see salespeople struggling with right now when it comes to staying organized, staying efficient? Maybe that's talking CRM, maybe that's not. But I think the biggest thing about salespeople is we have a lot on our plate. It's so much more than just sales. We have to do outreach. We have to send proposals. We have to talk. We have to negotiate. We have to talk contracts.
Yeah.
What's the biggest? I guess how I'm going to phrase this question is, how do you suggest salespeople stay organized so they can be the most efficient?
Good question. Then the idea is to try to make your sales rep focus on selling activities. So the activities that will bring revenue to your company. So that's quite obvious, but that's very important. And how you do that is, first of all, defining a process. So the complete sales process, starting from your prospect all the way down to signing the contract, and make sure that you have this process written somewhere and train your team to follow this process. That's the first thing. And then to boost the productivity, I will mention just having a tool. Okay, that's the basic. No CRM is one of them, and we can talk about tools because there's so many tools in the market.
Yeah.
But the other important part I would like to mention is starting your process, your sales process, with a good qualification process. Okay. And why is that? Is because that will enable your team to focus on the very important lead, the one that has actually a chance to close, and not shooting around to all the prospects with the same level of involvement. And that will save time for them, that will boost their productivity, that will of course boost the conversion rate because they will focus only on valuable leads, and also that would they will keep them motivated and organized, meaning focus on things that drive the revenue. Okay, so I hope it's clear, but for me it's really building the whole process, making sure they are trained to that, and also think about the qualification process. the first, entry gate of your sales process. The qualification is so important. If you focus on that, then you will save time for your team, and they will be able to focus more on what drives revenue.
I couldn't agree more. Uh, Probably one of the most common, I guess, answers to a lot and themes of answers to questions we ask on this podcast is have a great process. Every great sales company, sales rep has a good process, but you're talking about even before that process, you need to have a qualification process and quality outreach versus quantity outreach will impact your revenue more than anything else. So many people try to go after mass quantity of people. Really, I would rather talk to 50 qualified people than 500 maybe qualified people.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's really well said. Last question for you here. This is a no CRM question. I just think this is so unique that you guys do this. Actually, our VP of sales has actually used this tool of yours. Talk to me a little bit about your cold calling script that you guys have. And I just think it's kind of unique as a lead management system. You guys have a cold calling script tool.
Yeah, it's actually very powerful, and as I just mentioned, we really focused on our side in our own process on the qualification part, and so we started to build a kind of questionnaire that was inside our tool to basically retrieve the valuable information, the qualification criteria that we had set up, and retrieve that in the same format for everyone. So that was the beginning of the story, and we decided to build a tool for that actually, which is integrated into Notion, but which you can also find online and use for free apart from Notion. So the idea is to start building a template with a script, sorry. We have templates for you, so you don't start from scratch. And using this is very important because this is where you are going to, actually write your qualification criteria, guide your sales team to follow them, and guide them to retrieve the necessary information. You can even write down the question you want your team to ask. And this is very important. This is very powerful. I'm sure, James, the power of questions and good questions when we talk about sales. This is very important, and this is very powerful for you as a team, as a sales manager, to create the perfect script. You can create multiple scripts, you can A/B test the script, and it's a very powerful feature because at the end you're going to have valuable information in the same format in all your prospects, all your leads.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I know our VP of sales loved it or loves it. Our scripts with our cold call team was crafted from this. So really well done. We are going to link that in the show notes below. So anyone listening that's curious about No CRM's cold call script, it'll be linked in the show notes here. Hey, Nicolas, thank you so much. This is, you are actually the first guest I've actually had back onto the show.
Okay, cool. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I
So
guess
really,
I guess people like my French accent, maybe.
yes, no, the
So,
French accent is awesome. And,
cool.
but really, the insight that you guys have to sales is awesome. No CRM as a product's great. So thank you for joining me again. And yeah,
Thanks, James.
look forward
And
to
feel free, anyone, to contact me on LinkedIn and have a look at nocrm.io.
Yeah, actually, yeah, good plug there. Where should people find you if they want to learn more about No CRM?
Yeah, definitely. They can reach me, Nicolas de Swetschin, on LinkedIn. And then nocrm.io, you've got a lot of information on our website, help center, videos, and everything. And we're going to release new features coming next week about sales goals. Again, focusing on sales and driving your team to focus on the right things. So I invite you to stay tuned and have a look at that.
Awesome. And again, we'll link everything up along with Nicolas's LinkedIn profile in the show notes. And we're big believers of No CRM as we use it for every one of our clients. So Nicolas, thank you, sir, and look forward to speaking with you next time.
Thank you very much, James. Bye-bye.
Bye.